In the beginning, Nibiru was a lush planet, teeming with life and vegetation. Nibiru orbits the Sun once every 3,600 years. This is called one Shar. Volcanic eruptions on Nibiru envelop the planet with a thick protective atmosphere, keeping the heat trapped on the planet during its long, cold outer orbit and shielding it from the Sun's heat during its inner close orbit. Unlike the other planets, its rotation was elongated, while the other planets and the hammered bracelet we call the asteroid belt were more circular in their solar orbits. As time went on and the people of Nibiru advanced, great astronomers and scientists emerged, even savants of great wisdom. Each Shar or orbit, the conditions on Nibiru grew worse. Drought and crop loss were studied, and it was determined that the orbit was growing closer to the Sun on the inner courses. Their atmosphere was growing thinner because of declining volcanic emissions. During the Sixth Kingdom, Inshar was born. He was born wise and studied and mastered much learning. He decided to study the other planets and their atmospheres to try to find a solution to his own planet's thinning shield. As Nibiru approached the first 5 planets on the inbound orbit, In named them. An and Antu, he called the first 2 twin planets. The next 2 were the largest, and he named them Anshar and Kishar. One planet had a more elongated orbit, and on some inner approaches, it was the first one to greet them. He named it Gaga. After these first 5 planets, they approached the asteroid belt or boundary called the hammered bracelet. It was the guardian of the inner 4 planets, or the forbidden zone, and protected them from intrusion. Inshar decided to study the atmosphere of the greeters, the first 5 planets. On each orbit, the Nibirians launched spaceships to study each planet in hopes of finding a solution to their own planet's problem. They discovered much and were astounded but confused on how to apply this new knowledge. Each orbit or Shar, Nibiru became drier as the hole in their atmosphere grew wider. The councils of the planet tried to launch shields, but they fell back to the planet. They considered how to manipulate the volcanoes back to increased activity. Alula, the king of Nibiru for 9 Shars, 32,400 years, was defeated by Anu, his cupbearer, in hand-to-hand combat. After this, Alulu escaped Nibiru in a nuclear-powered spacecraft. Alulu had pre-planned a trip through the Forbidden Zone to Earth to search for gold to use as a white powder to chemtrail into the atmosphere to rebuild it. The crossing was forbidden and had never been attempted. This was Alula's plan to save Nibiru and become king again. As he flew through the heavens, he looked back at the great Nibiru and its belching fire, its life-sustaining envelope. Its hue of redness was like a sea churning. From space he could see the enormous breach in its planet's shield. He watched as his planet grew smaller and smaller. To snow-hued Earth, Alula set his course. By secret, from the beginning, he chose his destination. The next time Alula looked back to Nibiru, it was too small to see. Fear and remorse gripped his heart. He considered turning back, but journeyed on through the darkness of the outer solar system. 100 leagues, 1,000 leagues, the chariot was coursing. 10,000 leagues, the chariot was journeying. In the wide heavens, darkness was the darkest, and the faraway, distant stars, their eyes were blinking. More leagues, Alula traveled. Then a sight of great joy met his gaze. In the expanse of the heavens, the celestial emissary greeted him, little Gaga, the one who shows the way. By its circuit, Alula was greeting to him a welcome extending. Alula speeded through the solar system and described the beauty of each planet. Finally, beyond the 5th planet, he reached the asteroid belt, the hammered bracelet. Ahead was raining. To demolish, it was a waiting. Of rocks and boulders was it together hammered. Like orphans with no mother, they banded together. Many times the Nibirian ships had been destroyed trying to cross through this bracelet. Ululu stirred up the firestones in his spaceship and increased power. Ululu fired death missiles at the great rocks one by one as he entered the belt. The hole in the asteroid belt opened, and Ululu spotted the seventh planet and the sun. He set his machine for the snow-hued Earth. He noticed the Earth was smaller than Nibiru, and the gravitational force was weaker. The planet was divided into three parts: the top and bottom white, and the middle blue and brown. Deftly, Ululu spread the chariot's arresting wings around the Earth's ball to circle. In the middle region, dry lands and watery oceans he could discern. The beam that penetrates downward, he directed. Earth's innards to detect. I have attained it, he ecstatically shouted. Gold, much gold, the beam has indicated. It was beneath the dark-hued region, and the waters it was too. With pounding heart, Ululu a decision was contemplating. Shall he on the dry land his chariot bring down, perchance to crash and die? Shall he to the waters his course direct, to perchance it into oblivion sink? Which way shall he survive? Will it be the treasured gold discovered? In the eagle's seat, Ululu was not stirring. To fate's hands the chariot he entrusted. Fully caught in Earth's attracting net, the chariot was moving faster. Its spread wings became aglow. Earth's atmosphere like an oven it was. Then the chariot shook, emitting a mortifying thunder. With abruptness the chariot crashed, with a suddenness altogether stopping. Senseless from the shaking, stunned by the crash, Ululu was without moving. Then he opened his eyes and knew he was among the living. At the planet of gold he victoriously arrived. His chariot on dry land ascended. At the edge of extended marshes it landed. He put on an eagle. It was a white-hued ball in the heavens, and it was quickly rising. Kingu, the Earth's companion, he now beheld. What in the accounts of the beginning his eyes the truth could now see. The planets and their circuits, the hammered bracelet he had all seen. Kai the earth, Kingu its moon, all created were, all by names were called. In his heart Ululu knew one more truth of beholding was needed. The goal, the means of salvation to be found was needed. If the truth from the beginning tells were true, by the waters of the golden veins of Tiamat were washed. If the waters of Kai, its cut off half, gold must be found. With hands unsteady, Ululu the tester from the chariot's pole dismantled. With trembling hands the fish suit he donned, the fast arriving daylight eagerly awaiting. At daybreak the chariot he exited, to the marshes he quickly stepped. Into deeper waters he waded, the tester into the waters he inserted. Its illuminated face he eagerly watched. In his chest his heart was pounding. The water's contents was the tester indicating by symbols and numbers, its findings disclosing. Then Ululu's heartbeat stopped. There's gold in the waters, the tester was telling. Unsteady on his legs, Ululu stepped forward. Deeper into the marshes he made his way. Again in the tester into the waters he inserted. Again the tester gold announced. A cry of triumph from Ululu's throat emanated. Nibiru's fate in his hands now was. Back to the chariot he made his way. The fish's suit off he took, the commander's seat he occupied. The tablet of destinies that knows all circuits he enlivened. To Nibiru's circuits to find the direction. The speaker of words he stirred up. Toward Nibiru the words to carry. Then to Nibiru words he uttered, thus he was saying. The words of the great Ululu to Anu on Nibiru are directed. On another world I am. The gold of salvation I have found. The fate of Nibiru is in my hands. To my conditions you must give heed. Greatly was disappointed. He turned away from the marshes in the directions of the hills he went. He made his way through vegetation, bushes, to trees gave way. The place was like an orchard. The trees with fruit were laden. By their sweet smell enticed, Alulu picked the fruit, in his mouth he put it. Sweet was the smell, sweeter the taste was. Alulu greatly was delighted. Away from the sun's rays, Alulu was walking toward the hills. He set his direction. Among the trees of wetness under his feet, he sensed a sign of close-by waters. In the direction of the wetness, he set his course. In the midst of the forest, there was a pond, a pool of silent waters. Into the pond the sampler he lowered. For drinking, the water was good. Alulu laughed, and unstopping laughter seized him. The air was good. The water for drinking was fit. There was fruit. There were fishes. With eagerness, Alulu bent down. Together his hands he cupped. Water to his mouth he brought. A coolness did the water have, a taste from Nibiru's water. It was different. Once more he drank, then with fright he asunder jumped. A hissing sound he could hear. A slithering body by the pool side was moving. He carried weapon he seized. A blast of its ray toward the hissing he directed. The moving stopped. The hissing was ended. To examine the danger, Alulu stepped forward. The slithered body lay still, dead with the creature, a sight most strange. Like a rope its long body was, without hands or feet was the body. Fierce eyes were on its small head, out of its mouth a long tongue. A sight on Nibiru never beheld. It was a creature of another world. Was it the orchard's guardian? Alulu by himself pondered. Was it the water's master? Himself he asked. In his carried flask he some water collected. With alertness to the chariot he made his way. The sweet fruits he also picked to the chariot to set his course. The brightness of the sun's rays were greatly diminished. Darkness it was at the chariot he reached. The shortness of the day Alulu pondered. Its shortness him amazed. From the direction of the marshes a cool lightness on the horizon was rising. A white-hued ball in the heavens was quickly rising. Kingu, the earth's companion, he now beheld. What in the accounts of the beginning his eyes the truth could now see. The planets and their circuits, the hammered bracelet, Kai, the earth, Kingu, its moon, all created were, and all by names were called. In his heart Alulu knew one more truth of beholding was needed. The goal, the means of salvation to be found, was needed. If truth be in the beginning tells, if by the waters of the golden veins of Tiamat were washed, if the waters of Kai, its cut off half, gold must be found. With hands unsteady, Alulu the tester from the chariot's pole dismantled. With trembling hands the fish's suit he donned, the first arriving daylight eagerly awaiting. At daybreak the chariot he exited, to the marshes he quickly stepped. Into deeper waters he waded. The tester into the waters he inserted. Its illuminated face he eagerly watched. In his chest his heart was pounding. The water's contents was the tester indicating, by symbols and numbers its findings disclosing. Then Alulu's heartbeat stopped. There's gold in the waters, the tester was telling. Unsteady on his legs, Alulu stepped forward. Deeper into the marshes he made his way. Again he the tester into the waters inserted. Again the tester gold announced. A cry of triumph from Alulu's throat emanated. Back to the chariot he made his way. The fish's suit he took. The commander's seat he occupied. The tablets of destinies that know all circuits he enlivened. To Nibiru's circuit to find the direction. The speaker of words he stirred up, towards Nibiru the words to carry. Then to Nibiru words he uttered, that thus he was saying, the words of the great Alulu to Anu on Nibiru are direct. On another world I am, the gold of salvation I have found. The fate of Nibiru is in my hands. To my conditions you must give heed.